Hello everyone, it's Justin here from Meridian Vocational College. We've come to section 5 of produce seafood dishes. So in this section we're going to look at a number of things of how we actually present fish and shellfish and how we serve this dish to the customer. Okay, so really important. I've got a few dot points up on the board and we'll go through each of these in a bit more detail. Before I start that, I just want to reiterate the importance of making sure that we're working clean, we're working safely, and we're always mindful that working with fish, shellfish, this is potentially a high-risk food. So make sure we're always cleaning as we go. Our knives, our benches, our chopping boards, our equipment. Take great care. Take detail in the way that we clean down. Okay, so always use hot soapy water. Make sure at the end we sanitize our knives, our bench tops, and that our chopping boards are clean as they go through the dishwasher. Okay, so this element is very important. Let's look at balance, texture, taste, garnish, and the visual appeal of your dish as you go to present. Okay, so a lot of things that we have to keep in mind and to think about. Okay, so let's look at balance. We know that fish is very delicate. It has a nice sweet flavor. We want to get that really beautiful flavor of the ocean coming through. So from the previous video, we look at different methods of cookery which actually complement and highlight rather than masking and being too overpowering or affecting the taste and texture of the fish. Okay, so balance is really important. We want to make sure we use sauces, we use garnishes, we use marinades that complement the flavor of the dish. Taste is so important. Always taste as you go through. Okay, at the beginning, make sure you taste your marinade to make sure that you're happy before you marinate that fish overnight. Make sure that you taste your dish as you go through the cooking process to make sure if your sauce is reducing down, that the flavor hasn't been affected too much. It's not too salty, it's not too sweet, that it has a nice balance. Okay, so taste also just before you present the dish to your customer. Okay, we never serve and present a dish to your customer and then the food comes back and you say, I haven't tried the dish. Okay, so that's such an important part of being a chef, is to taste as we go and adjust. Texture. We want to have and we enjoy eating food that has different textures. Okay, creamy, smooth, crunchy, crispy, okay, little bit chewy sometimes, okay, but we want to make sure that our fish, which is the star of our dish, that this stays nice and flaky and just cooked. It's better to serve fish that is a little bit undercooked than fish that is overcooked because it goes rubbery, it goes tough, it goes chewy. Okay, so think about the texture. A visual appeal, this is so important. We always have to make sure that we think about the way that we will present this dish to your customer. Okay, so we think before, ahead of time, does my dish need a sauce? Okay, if so, what sort of sauce will I look at? Or what sauce will complement that dish? Okay, so I'll go through that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. We need to select an appropriate serviceware or plate to present that dish on. Okay, think about color, shape, okay, the size. This is all such an important part. We don't want to have a too small a plate when we're presenting a large dish. Same the other way. You don't want to get a really big plate where you're presenting a little appetizer on there. So it has to have balance and harmony. Really important. Garnish. Okay, so the garnishing. Not all dishes necessarily need a garnish. Better to leave off a garnish than putting a garnish on there on top of your beautiful fish dish which isn't appropriate or it's not edible. Okay, so we want to think about the flavors. For an example, if I'm doing a really nice, whole, crispy, deep fried snapper, okay, so I've actually done this in the wok. It's got a really nice crispy skin, Asian flavors. I've got some lemongrass, soy, ginger, garlic. I've got some red chili. I've got a little bit of tamarind. So I've got different flavors, textures. Okay, so I've got sweet, salty, a little bit of spice. I've covered all aspects here. Maybe a nice garnish for this dish, okay, to accompany some steamed rice will be some really beautiful fresh herbs. I can put some lemon wedges to squeeze over the top, but I want to get some nice coriander, some torn fresh mint. This has got to be really vibrant, really appetizing. When you serve that to your customer, they're going to be really eager to jump in and get stuck into that snapper. Okay, some nice, on the angle, nicely sliced spring onion. Okay, again, think about color, flavor, texture, and these Asian ingredients really suit and really complement and match the dish. So overall, just covering throughout the whole section of prepared seafood dishes. At the end, we need to have a mindset of how and what can I store, okay? So, and when can I store it? So we know that fish doesn't have a very long shelf life, okay? After 1 or 2 days, coming into the 3rd day, your quality of your fresh fish is going to start to deteriorate, okay? On the 4th or 5th day, then it becomes no longer safe to use, okay? So timing is really important. Remember, we want to store our fish in the coldest part of the cool room. We want to make sure we label. So put a label there, the date that it has been received, and also put the name of the product. If we decide to freeze down after 1 or 2 days, ready for use in maybe a week or 2 time, it's important that we can also put the number of portion or the weight. Okay, so make sure it's been tightly wrapped, lid on there to prevent any sort of freezer burn. Okay, always make sure that you're keeping in mind that fish is really delicate. Okay, we don't want any freezer burn. This will affect the quality of fish which is served to customers once it's been cooked. Thank you very much.